My thanks to my patron Hauke for suggesting the topic for this video. If you'd like to suggest topics for videos, or even if you just want to support this channel, you can do so by making a pledge on my Patreon page. But first, here's the video. We've all heard of Angela Merkel, the current Chancellor of Germany, and most of us are probably aware that the most important part of the German government is the Bundestag. But how are things organised below that level? What does local government look like in Germany? The best way to begin is at the most basic level, the Gemeinde, which can be translated as parish or municipality. This can be one town or village, but is more usually made up of a number of settlements. It might be named after the biggest settlement, or two of the biggest settlements, or given a completely different name. Each parish has an elected mayor and council and is responsible for most local affairs. Things like building permits, street cleaning, the registration of residents, libraries, stuff like that. Vote for me and I will put an end to the dog feces scandal is a theoretically possible campaign slogan that I have never actually heard. Some parishes, usually those with a population of more than about 10,000, are granted the official status of Stadt. In medieval times, being granted this status meant the right to build defences, but these days it means very little at all. In Bavaria, there is also a status of Markt, which is somewhere between Gemeinde and Stadt. In some rural areas, very small parishes may come together and pool their resources to make the administration easier. So when my wife has to renew her ID card, she has to go to the next parish because that's where our administrative offices are. The next level up is Kreis or Landkreis, which I like to translate as district. Many parishes make up one district, and the district takes on things like organising public transport, garbage collection, emergency and rescue services, hospitals and so on. Towns and cities that are big enough can take on these responsibilities for themselves. This used to be called Stadtkreis, but outside of Baden-Württemberg it's now Kreisfreie Stadt. These districts and cities are governed by directly elected councils. Sometimes there are some weird anomalies. For example, some districts are named after towns that aren't in them. I live in the Aschaffenburg rural district, which is named after the city of Aschaffenburg, but the city of Aschaffenburg is an urban district in its own right, and so not part of the rural district. But if I want to go to my district offices for some reason, I have to leave the rural district and go to the city because that's where the offices are. Near the top, we have the Land, the state. Germany is a federal democracy, so the states have a high degree of autonomy and they organise most things. Prisons, law enforcement, schools, healthcare and so on. And each state has its own directly elected assembly. There are a lot of elections in Germany. Elections are good. 4 states delegate some administrative responsibilities to regional authorities. It used to be more, but several states have got rid of them. They don't have any political power, they just do some admin. All of this, by the way, is relevant only to 13 states. The other 3 are the city-states of Berlin, Hamburg and Bremen, where nearly everything is handled at the same level. Finally, central government in Berlin concentrates on the really big stuff: foreign policy, defence, the criminal and civil codes and so on. And of course the main assembly, the Bundestag, is, yes, directly elected. So that's basically it. There are a lot of exceptions and complications, but at the most basic level of all, we can say that government has the following levels. The parish keeps your streets clean, the district collects your garbage, the state educates your children, and the country decides whether or not to send soldiers to Afghanistan. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to send me a postcard, here's the address. And don't forget to visit my website and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Also, if you'd like access to special bonus content and help with the costs of running this channel, please consider making a small monthly donation on Patreon.